Online students, is my voice is loud and clear? Everyone, could you please where we can find that? Please share a link. Otherwise, which one? Srivastav. ML class of Saturday. Hey, ML class of Saturday. Whoever has paid for the recordings automatically will receive that recordings of the Saturday. In this class, how many of you have paid for the recordings? You have got luckily first two classes of ML class free of cost as a workshop. But generally, remaining all the ML classes, how many ML classes we are going to have? Every ML class, whoever has paid for the recordings, you'll automatically receive the recording. Only first two classes of ML, only first two classes of ML is freely available for every student. Only first two classes are ML of free. That too, this is not planned or why you have given two classes means basically it is not free for you. Even that one also is a part of recordings only. Unexpectedly, the first two classes was conducted as a workshop for the new batch students. That is the reason you got as the free of cost. Otherwise, even that one also you will not receive. Okay, done. Okay, sir. But to attend the session, we need the Zoom link, right? Yes. Zoom every class at 6 p.m. Whatever it starts at 6 p.m. The Zoom link will be available at 5:50 in your classroom at 5:50 p.m. Every Saturday at 5:50 p.m. It will be available before 5:50 p.m. It will be available in Google Classroom itself. Last ML class Zoom link is what are the Zoom link to attend the class Zoom link? What are the Zoom link is required to attend ML class? Guys, could you please confirm me? Are you okay with attending Saturdays? What are the Saturday we are taking on? Saturday ML class. Either you want at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST. 6 to 9 p.m. IST. This is one way. And the second one is morning 9:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. IST. Out of these two, which one you want? Guys, if some of the students are saying morning, some of the students are saying evening, means it will be difficult, guys. The only reason we are taking in the morning, only reason is because some of the students are facing the difficulty because the recording will be there, right? Generally, the 6 to 9, what are the Saturday summer class is there? This is getting updated on the next day morning. Next day morning means when the recording is getting updated for everyone. Monday morning at 11 o'clock, generally it is getting updated in your recordings portal. Now, by taking the class at morning hours, on the same day itself, the recording will be updated for your revision purpose or anything. So that is the reason. If you want, I can go with the morning. This is the least I can do. Than this, I can't do anything. Okay. If I take morning, immediately it will get uploaded. Morning. I can see Sindhusha. Apart from Sindhusha remaining. Okay, I can see one Sindhusha. Amir says that Saturday, right? This is Saturday. Okay, yes. Not a problem. If you're finding difficulty, let us go with the evening only. For me, no problem. Absolutely not a problem. Evening. Morning better so that we can have outing in the Srinivas Rao. I can understand. But at the same time, your batch was basically evening batch, right? So many multiple working professionals, they are fixed for the evening or something. Okay. Done. Ignore. Right now, please ignore. Please ignore right now. No more discussion on this. Let us don't get deviated from the topic. We'll discuss on the Friday if required. That we'll discuss. Just ignore this. I got this idea only because of a recording is getting updated on the Monday and some of the students are unable to practice. That is the reason I asked this question at least. If the recording is getting updated on the same day, I will not even ask this question also. I used to continue. Okay, we'll go with we'll discuss on the Friday. Okay, let's keep this one side. Now let us focus on our topic, what is called as activation function. Now these activation functions we are having the total 6 types of activation functions are there. Okay, the first activation function is called as linear. First activation function name is called as linear. Second activation function name is called as sigmoid. Third one is called as ReLU. Fourth one is called as leaky ReLU. Fifth one is called as tanh. Sixth one is called as softmax. So total 6 activation functions we are having. So first question, what is activation function? Here every neuron, whichever the neuron receives the information, every neuron will receive the information called as some input value along with the weight. What is the information it is going to receive? X value along with the weight. So whichever the neuron receives, whether it is a hidden neuron or output neuron, whichever the neuron receives the information, that neuron will process. What it will process means first is sigma wi plus b. What is meant by sigma wi plus b? That is nothing but weight into input, weight into input, weight into input along with the bias. Already I told you in the last class. What is sigma wi plus b? Okay, that is nothing but w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus w3 x3. So if you remember, if you are having the one input variable along with the one output variable, what is the formula? Mx plus c. If you are having the two input variables, what is the equation? M1 x1 plus M2 x2 plus C2 or C, simply C. Now this M1 x1 plus M2 x2 plus C will be represented like this. How we are going to represent this? Sigma Mx plus C. What is meant by sigma Mx? Starting from the 1 to 2, wherever it is starting, wherever it is ending. Mi xi. What is mi xi? M value will be C. Understand this logic, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4 up to n. Just the commas. There is no difference. We are going to represent as this like that only. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus so on up to n. How this plus will be represented is sigma I, sigma I, where I stands, what's the starting value of I? 1, where it ends means here. When you have the sequential order of numbers, sir, for example, 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 9, that will not be represented. Only the sequence of numbers, adding of sequence of numbers only will be represented like this. That too, starting number, where it is ending. For example, if it is starting with a 0, then here it is going to be 0. If starting number is 1, it is going to represent with a 1. Obviously, there is no use with the 0. Everyone knows that one. If you add 0 also, there is no use. Okay, what's the meaning of this one is I. What is I value starting? 1. Sigma represents plus symbol. Again I value. Next value is 2. Again I value 3. Again I value 4. Again I value 5. Like that I value up to n. In between plus symbol is added like this. This is the notation or this is the representation how 1 to n will be represented like this. Is the point is clear? Everyone? Understood? Similarly, W1 plus W2 plus W3 plus so on up to Wn will be represented as what? Plus symbol will be taken as sigma. Okay, Wi. Bottom is I. Where I starts with the 1 to here. Wi. Now tell me in the same way, W1 x1 plus W2 x2 plus W3 x3 plus so on up to Wn xn will be represented as how? Plus symbol will go as sigma. 1 is I x I. It will be represented like this. Simple. Same logic for this one also, but that is only for this one. This is not a part of this one. For this one only, sigma mx plus c. Is the point is clear, everyone? Understood the logic? Now, here the most important point is there. What is the point is called as? If you are following the Indian textbooks by Indian authors, whoever the Indian authors are there, they are going to write the 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on. What is the alphabet they are going to set again? Last one. So on up to, generally what is the number here? What is the number you are going to write here? This is by Indian authors. By US authors, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus, if they follow US textbooks, it will represent up to K. Their representation is K. Okay, so here we are going to represent this one as sigma I is equal to 1 to n. The same thing they are going to write I to K. Letter K they are going to take. Similarly, W1 x1 plus W2 x2 plus so on up to Wn xn we are going to write as per Indian. They will write Wk to xk and it will be represented for them as sigma Wi xi. Only difference is I is 1 to K. They write in the top K like this. They are using the K letter. That is their notation. These letters, what are the letter we are going to choose? Letter we call it as notation. That is your choice. So why they are using K letter or N letter is, for example, it was invented by me, I used the S letter. My name starts with S letter. I'll go with the S letter. Why is my interest? I'm inventing now. My choice. There is no fixed rule there. That is their mood. And they have written with that letter. Simple. Right? So just notations, guys. Some of the standard notations is there. For example, pressure is there. Pressure is denoted by P only. By US or Indian or UK or anything. They are called as standard notations. No one can change. Even sigma also. Summation is represented by sigma. No one can change. Certain things they can change. Optional. Like import the pandas as PD. Standard, optional. Standard. Standard is every order will follow the same. Whether it is Indian orders or US orders, everyone will follow. Optional. When I will import the pandas as SRK. When I'm practicing in my as a student, I used to import SRK. At the time, SRK dot data frame, SRK dot this one, SRK dot like that. I used to write my name multiple times. Why some is that one of the type of madness. Literally, there is nothing use. Why we can't use? And we used to do like that. So here the point is very simple. Just why I'm saying all these things is when you're following the orders, please observe what notations they are using. Unless you don't get confused. Okay. Now some of the students has asked me to upload the textbooks related to ML and AI and something. So I'm going to upload the textbook right now. And one of my favorite books is this one. Guys, again I'm saying this is not the standard book. This is not only the book where the interviews will ask the interview questions. Particularly unlike this book, interviews will not ask from this textbook. This book I felt easy. Why I'm recommending for you this book is only reason is I felt easy. Okay. Now generally what I will do is I'm just uploading the textbook. Interview questions I'm discussing at the time in the class itself, right? Same interview questions. Particularly few interview questions are there, approximately 100 interview questions are there. And these 100 questions I'm going to share at the end during the interview preparation. At the time I'm going to share you with the what are the questions are there. And total 100 questions are there with me. And these are commonly asked questions. Most commonly asked questions are approximately 100 to 150 questions are there in the overall course. And I'm going to share this one. Right? Before to the last week only you get the questions because I conducted the mock test now. In the mock test anyways I'm going to use those questions only. Okay. Again, please don't say that sir, these questions already shared in the mock test. What I have to do? Important questions I have to keep the exam, right? But interview also important questions only, exam also important questions only. So I have to give very separate questions for my interview. No, right? I want to test every student, simply I have given those questions only. Okay, done. Now coming to the textbook. AI textbooks. What are the AI related books are there? Now, here multiple books are available. Right now, I'll add the book in the Google, guys, just to give me a few minutes. And here, suddenly I have forgot the book name. Okay, anyways, I'll add. Suddenly I have forgot. This is not the book. Okay, I'll add the book, but one thing I'll tell you guys, if this book is 399 pages here, can you see the PDF? It is 399. What is this book also I don't know. Okay, who is this author also I don't know. First time I'm also seeing. But one thing I can say, Whenever you're preparing some book, always go from the sequential order page by page. Don't directly jump into the topic wherever you require the linear regression. Directly don't enter into that. So please always come in the sequential order. If you want to learn what is activation functions and everything, and what is meant by hyperparameter tuning, what is loss function, all these things we are going to discuss. But directly don't jump into the directly that particular page number. Please come in the sequential order, because when you come in the sequential order, you'll understand the order's notation, in what order they have written. Okay. Here the textbook, of course, multiple books are there. Anyways, I'll share the textbook today only. Done. Now coming back to these activation functions. So these are all the activation functions. Now I told that activation function will do this one. Every neuron will receive some information. It will do the sigma wxi plus b. What is meant by sigma wxi plus b is, for example, here, everyone, for example, here you have 3 neurons, and this is the neuron which is collecting the information from here. This is x1, x2, x3, w1, w2, w3, and bias is for this neuron. Now for this neuron, what it will be calculated? That is, output is equal to w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus w3 x3 plus b. From here to here, I can write the sigma wxi. Obviously, starting I1 is going to be 1, 2, 3. Can I write like this? So simply, whatever I want to add this one, just I'm going to represent that one in the wxi plus b. Is that fine, everyone? For example, there is one more neuron. This is connected to this. What this will do? For example, w4, w5, w6. What is the function of this neuron output? What is the neuron output? w4 into x1, w5 into x2, w6 into x3 plus b, which is nothing but sigma wxi plus b. So everyone are doing the same thing. That is nothing but sigma wxi plus b. Now along with that, every single neuron, what are the single neuron is there? Every single neuron will process 2 informations. This is neuron. Whichever the neuron is receiving the information, it will process 2 steps. Step 1, sigma wxi plus b. Inside the neuron, what will happen? Sigma wxi plus b. It will calculate, followed by whatever this one is there, it will be sent into the activation function. Inside the neuron, what happens? 2 things. One is called as sigma wxi plus b, followed by activation function. After sending into the activation function, it will return the output. Whatever the output was given from the function. What is meant by function? Everyone tell me what is meant by function is? Function means it is going to take some input and it is going to return some output. What is the input it is going to take means sigma wxi plus b is the input. What is the output means? Based on the activation function, it will be decided. For every activation function, input is sigma wxi plus b only. For all the activation functions, sigma wxi plus b is the input. After passing to the activation function, it will be sent out as the output. It will be represented like this. Generally, every neuron will be represented like this. What is the representation means? Sigma wxi plus b. This is the notation. It will be represented like this. What this is called as? Activation function. And this is your input. Inside the activation function, this is the input and it is going to be the output. I will explain with an example after explaining the activation functions. With the activation function, almost design will be completed and we'll also see how the process will work. Okay, this is the last one with the design of the neural network. First, let us understand the different activation functions. What are the various activation functions we are having? Everyone has written this? Please confirm me. Z is equal, sorry, not Z. Every neuron. Which neuron? Which neuron will do this one? All the neurons will do it? No. Whichever the neurons receives the information. For example, input neuron also will do this one? No. Input neuron just will pass the information. Whichever the neuron will receive the information. But this is receiving from here, so it will process. For example, this is receiving from here, it will process. If this is receiving from here, it will process. Whichever the neurons are receiving the information, that neurons will process. Whichever the neurons are not receiving the information, it will not process. Okay. So here, the neurons which will receive the information, they will process. That is the reason I told you, if you go back, what your output neuron will do. What output neuron will do? It will collect the data, that is x values, w values, b values, x, w, p. P values it will collect. And along with that process, what is meant by process? Inside the activation function, sigma wxi plus b. And it is going to give the output. So every neuron will do the same. Is the point is here? I'll explain with an example. Don't get confused right now again. First, like the different types of activation functions, we'll discuss one by one. First, we'll start with the linear. Okay, what is meant by linear function is? Defer, linear. What is the input it is going to receive? Sigma wxi plus b. Let's take the sigma wxi plus b for our understanding. Let us save that sigma wxi plus b value in the z. Is that okay? So what's the input it is going to take? Z as the input. Z as the input. And it is going to return the value Z only. Whatever the input it will take, it will give as is the same output. No difference. That is called as linear function. What is linear function? Whatever the Z value is there, as is it will send outside. No conversion. No conversion in the linear. Now, for example, let's take an example like this. Z value. Z value got as minus 10. What is the output of the linear function? Minus 10 only. It will not change anything. For example, minus 5. What's the output? Minus 5 only. If you got 0, what's the output? 0 only. If you give 1, what's the output? 1 only. If you give 10, what's the output? 10 only. Whatever the Z value is there, that is the output of the neuron as per the linear activation function. No changes. If you draw the diagram, so what is this diagram, sir? A graph. Everyone knows what is the graph? Graph is nothing but representation of points. So here, I'm going to take the Z value and this is the output of the function. Output of the function and input of the function. Now for minus 10, 10, the first one is minus 10, 10. This is minus 10. This is minus 10. Minus 10, 10 is this is the point. Okay. Minus 5, 5. Let's take this one as minus 5. This is also minus 5. Or for our understanding, easy understanding. Okay, let us go with a simple example. Still more simplified. Let us take some negative values like minus 2, minus 2, minus 1, minus 1, 0, 0, plus 1, plus 1, plus 2, plus 2. Okay, here let us draw the 0, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2, minus 1, minus 2. Right? Now, what's the first point? Minus 2, comma, minus 2. This one. 1, comma, minus 1, comma, minus 1. 0, comma, 0. 1, comma, 1, 2, comma, 2. If you combine these data points like this, what's the line you're going to get? Linear line. That's the reason it is called as linear function. You're going to have the linear line as it is like that. A line like this. So, how the linear line will be represented? General graph sheet will not be there. Simply the linear line will be represented like this. What is this meaning? Linear. From where you got that line? Based on graph sheet. Graph sheet was in the background disabled. Okay, it will be represented like this. Everyone is clear? So linear function is clear. What is meant by linear function is what are the z values? Z value only is the output, no difference. Now let us focus on the second activation function called as REL. So sigma is sir. We'll come in the sequential order. First I'll write the REL. One by one will come. All 6 I'll explain, obviously. First I'll start with the REL. What is meant by REL is rectifier. RE stands for rectifier. N stands for linear. U stands for unit. Rectifier linear unit. That is the full form. What this rectifier linear unit is going to do is your REL function, what are the input it is going to take? If z value is less than or equal to 0, it is going to return the 0. Simply 0. It will convert, sir, for example, z value got as minus 5,000, sir. What is the output of the neuron? 0, simply. It will not share the minus 5,000. It will convert to 0. If z value, if z value is greater than or equal to 0, it is going to return the z value. Positive numbers will be shared as this, negative numbers will be rectified. So it is called as rectified linear unit. Right? Done? Yeah. You can take greater than or equal to 0 or greater than 0. That is your choice. For 0, both answers will be the same. If you take less than or equal to 0 is there. As per this first answer, 0. As per this first answer, that is also 0. Return z value. That is 0 is return 0, right? You can take the equal to symbol, which of the side you are interested. Choice is yours. Now let us draw the diagram for this. How the diagram will look like. To look at our diagram, some of the negative values, some of the positive values will require. So z value output. That is minus 10. For minus 10, I'll get the 0. For minus 5, 0. For 0, 0. For 1, 1. For 2, 2. So when I take this diagram, minus 10 comma 0 dot, minus 5 comma 0, 0 comma 0 means all the negative values I get as a straight line on the left side. 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 3 comma 3, 4 comma 4. It is a linear line. Positive side I'll get the linear line. Left side it was rectified to horizontal line. So that diagram will be represented like this. So all the negative values are rectified. Positive values are in the linear line. That is the diagram. Take some random values of your choice. Any random values of z you only take and calculate the output also and make the dots and connect the dots. Automatically you will get the answer. Connect the dots. Is the point is clear? So I explain this diagram. Yeah, by ellipse, you can say that is your choice. Example I'm writing, guys. Amir, you can write else also, not a problem. Even you don't write this one also, not a problem. Dhananjay, but what is this plot? Plot is nothing but representation of points. What are the points are they? Just representation. Is the point is clear? It is a just representation. For your understanding purpose, since Dhananjay has asked this question, for understanding purposes, I'm just showing this an example. This is the one which we are going to have in the future. Okay, this is only our main part, which we call it as transformers. Now, if you see in the transformers, here, in this diagram, can you see here the word called as linear? Can you see here the word linear? So here they have represented the word linear. Okay, instead of linear, for example, they have written the slash like this. Instead of linear, for example, there is no linear word. Instead of linear, they have written the diagram like this. Then what's the meaning of that? It is linear function was applied there. So wherever you see this diagram like this, it is linear function. Wherever you see something like diagram like this, it is ReLU function. So sometimes that particular function will be represented by its diagram. Instead of showing as the word, they'll show as the plot. Sometimes. Okay, right? This is clear, right? Now, next one is called as ReLU. Out of all the activation functions, this is only the most worst activation function and no use. Okay, now leaky rail. What is meant by leaky rail is here. What are the leaky rail you are having? Same input. Input is same only. If z value is less than 0, if z value is less than 0 or less than or equal to 0, is not a problem. Return z into 10 to the power of minus 50. Z into 10 to the power of minus 50. Negligible value. Negligible to negligible value. Right? And if z value greater than 0, return the z. So there is no difference when it is more than 0. The difference comes when it is less than 0. Okay, z into 10 to the power of minus 50. Here, the point why they have invented leaky rail, because one of the students has asked this question to the scientist, not to me, to the scientist. What is the question is, sir, here, for example, we are having one layer like this. For this layer, the neurons are connected. Okay, and it is sharing some information like this and weights. And the weights and due to the sigma wxi plus b, it has calculated as 10,000. The z value was calculated as minus 10,000 z value. Now, if you give the output as 0 based on the ReLU, as per the ReLU, what happens is 0. Now, if the 0 is there, 0 into what is the weight of that one, automatically will be multiplied as 0. Means literally this neuron is dead neuron, no, sir. Dead neuron, right? So whenever the neuron output is 0, that neuron is not giving any information. And no information with the what are the weight if you add also no use. Okay, if something is having, okay, for example, this one is sharing the information of minus 5,000. What is the output of this one? 0. And for that corresponding weight if you multiply also 0. 0 into 0, 0 plus 0, total 0 now. But actually here minus value is there, sir. Due to that minus value, what happened? All output was given as 0. So sometimes whenever we are applying the activation function of ReLU, it is converting some of the neurons as dead neurons. Okay, neurons it is converting to dead because it is not giving any output from that. Simply it is sharing the 0. So is there any solution for that? Then they have came with the solution. What is the solution is by multiplying 10 to the power of minus 50, which is 0.00000. Sir, almost negligible now, sir. Negligible only. It should not be used. At the same time, it should be available. Point is clear. Purpose of creating the neurons of ReLU is only one reason is called as neuron should be alive. But sir, then what about the problem with the minus value, sir? What is the problem with the minus value for you? Minus values output is not required for us. Why minus value is not required? Because take any in your mind, take one project of your choice where you want to predict something which is minus. Think something where you have to predict something which is minus. based on the input variables, you have to predict something which is minus. Is there any project like that which has both minus and positives? As one of the students is saying that negative temperature, good point. Now I want to predict the temperature based on the other input parameters, what I'm having. If that particular city or country is having all the negative values, everything is negative only, then automatically I'm going to apply the scaling now, and I convert this one into positive numbers, right? Either completely negative or completely positive. Some of the values of negative, some of the values of positive is there, and that has to be predicted. Means in that case, okay, like for example, we require both positives and negatives. For example, my temperature sometimes will be positive 26 degrees, sometimes minus 4 degrees. Both will be there. Both the possibilities are there. Okay, there is a country or city, something where positives and negatives both are available. In that case, we are going to bring the Riti rule. Only for that type of projects only Riti rule. For other projects, no use of Riti rule. It is purely rule we are going to apply. Is the point is clear? We'll see the applications, guys. Once we complete this, all the activation functions, we'll see the application. One by one application will go. Where we are going to use, which one we are going to use. Next step. Okay, done. So basically, the smallest values of z, which is negative, hence the name is leaky. Exactly. Now, when you observe the plot also, the plot almost will be close to the negative values will be close to the x-axis, and this side it will be linear only. No difference on the positive numbers, linear unit only. In the negative sides, almost it will be horizontal line only attached to x-axis, but small gap is there, minute gap. This we call it as leaky. That small part is leaking up, leaky rain. Slight gap will be there. Right? Now, coming to the next activation function is called as sigmoid. Sigmoid. Def sigmoid activation function, where it is going to take the same input is same only, and what are the input, it will be converted, return. It is going to return the e power z divided by 1 plus e power z. What it is going to return? E power z divided by 1 plus e power z, or 1 divided by 1 plus e power minus z. Both are same. Is that clear? Every value will be converted like this. Whether it is a positive number, whether it is a negative number, everything will be converted like this. Where this function is called as sigmoid function. Okay. So when you apply the diagram for this, what the diagram is there? Your diagram will be like this. Okay. 1 minute, not this one. Just give me a minute. This one. Your diagram will be this one. Okay. Never you get the negative values. As the output, you never get the negative values. Output is always positive. Even your input is negative also. Output of the output, what the output is there? Output is positive only. Sir, how sir? Very simple. Now you tell me guys. Take any z value of your choice. Z is 1000. Z is 1000. E power 1000 divided by 1 plus e power 1000. It is more than 1 or less than 1? More than 1 or less than 1? Obviously less than 1. Why is less than 1? Denominator is higher than the numerator. What are the numerator is there? Numerator plus 1. Plus 1 is bottom is that means obviously that value should be less than 1 only. It cannot cross more than 1. Always the output. What the output is? Less than 1. Now, can you get that 0? Okay, 0 can you get? When you get a 0, e power z divided by 1 plus e power z should be 0 means e power z should be 0. For which z value 0 will come is infinite value. That is nothing but you are going to apply the log to base e. On the both sides, if you apply log to base e, now the z value will become the infinite. Means now it is possible. So 0 is possible in the sigmoid. Output of 0 is possible in the sigmoid? No. So what is the range of sigmoid? Range. What is the range of sigmoid? Means it cannot cross more than 1. At the same time, it cannot be equal to 1 also. It can be equal to 1. Numerator and denominator will be the same? Never. Never the numerator and denominator will be the same. Obviously, it is going to be less than 1. At the same time, negative values are possible. So let's take the z value as minus 5000, sir. Take e power minus 5000 divided by 1 plus e power minus 5000. Automatically 1 by e power 5000. It is a positive number, negative number. Small number or big number, positive number. Divide by 1 plus e power 5000. This is also positive number, negative number, positive number. Obviously, denominator is positive, numerator is positive. Then how the negative value will come? So, what is the range of this one? 0 to 1. It cannot be less than 0. It cannot be equal to 0. It cannot be more than 1. Less than 0, possible? No. Equal to 0, possible? No. Greater than 1, possible? No. Less than 0, not possible because negative value is not possible. Numerator and negative, denominator always positive numbers only. Equal to 0, not possible. Greater than 1, not possible. Obviously, the range is going to become the 0 to 1. Is the point is clear, everyone? And the representation, the graph is represented by lines, where S letter, literally it is equal to S letter type. If you observe your positive, output will be positive only. Z value can be negative. Z can be negative. Z can be positive. But output is always positive. That too, it is 0 to maximum number is 1. Up to maximum only 1 is there. It cannot cross more than 1 also. That 1 number representation is important, guys. Here. Okay. Now it will be 0. Now it will be 1. Now, can anyone tell me what is the range of range? I told for linear function. For linear, anyone can tell me what is the range? What is the output range of the linear? Minus infinity to plus infinity. Anything can come. Because Z value can be anything, anything can come. What is the range of sigmoid? 0 to 1. Just now I have explained. What is the ReLU? Yes, 0 is included? Yeah. Included. So square bracket. Positive numbers can be anything. ReLU, what is the Z value possible? Anything. So minus infinity to plus infinity. Though it is a minus of small number, so we don't know that number now. When we don't know, automatically we have to write the infinity only. Very small only. Minus 0.000000000000004 also. Because we don't know now. What are the number we don't know, that is called as infinite. Basically, whatever number we don't know, it can be anything. We don't know. Nothing is in our hand, is infinite. Is the point is clear, guys, everyone? The diagram of sigmoid, function of sigmoid, range of sigmoid, everything are clear? Next, let's move on to the next activation function. The next activation function name is called as softmax. Okay, let us give the next activation function name is softmax. Softmax activation function is very simple activation function. Here we are handling different neurons, and every neuron, what are the sigma wxi plus b will be there? Literally will apply the linear only. Activation function is linear only. After applying for the multiple neurons linear, out of these, whichever is highest, that one it will select. It is applied only on the multi-class. Multiple neurons is there only. This logic is applicable. Softmax is selecting out of multiple any one. What's the meaning of softmax? Selecting one out of n, which is highest. It is called as softmax. There is no particular this one only. Softmax means for how many neurons you calculate the sigma wxi plus b. In that, whichever is highest, select only that neuron, remaining neuron sigma. For the entire layer, only one neuron will be selected. Remaining all of them will be ignored. Okay, that is called as softmax. Right now, just write as an example, I'll explain. With an example, I'll explain so that you'll understand the complete clarity. Just wait for another 5 minutes, you'll get understand with each of everyone. Okay. Now, next one is called as tan h. What is meant by tan h? Tan h activation function is def tan h of z. That is the input. It is going to return 1 minus e power 2z divided by 1 plus e power minus 2z. There is a value it is going to return. It is going to return the value 1 minus e power minus 2z divided by 1 plus e power minus 2z. That is a formula for tan h. And the range of tan h is minus 1 to plus 1. And the diagram is, it will go from this one. This is plus 1, this is minus 1. Only difference between the sigmoid versus tan h is sigmoid will be 0 to 1, tan h will be minus 1 to plus 1. That is the diagram. Now everyone get a doubt. Sir, how you are drawing these diagrams? I want the diagrams, the logic. Very simple. Whoever wants to try the diagram, what you have to do is, in your notes, take some random values of input. You only take some random values of z values. Choice is yours. Some positive numbers, some negative numbers. What are the numbers you are interested in? Keep all the, at least some negative numbers, some positive numbers, along with the 0. Along with some negative numbers you take, 1 0 you take, and some positive numbers you take. Any 10 numbers, 20 numbers, 30 numbers, choice is yours. And along with the output, what are the function will be doing now? That one you write. It will give some outputs. When you send into that one, automatically it has to give every function is having one formula right inside that. So just you send into that, it will give some output. Now you take a graph sheet. In the graph sheet, you write here input, that is nothing but your z. That is nothing but your z value. And here you take the output. And first, you know how to keep the dots in the graph sheets. One x value, one y value combination is called as one dot. One point. Point means a combination of x comma y, not individual value. X is nothing but input, that is z value. Output is y value. This is x, this is y. Keep the dots. Now you combine the dots. What are the dots after keeping this one? Just combine them in the sequential order one by one. What the curve comes now, that is the answer. The more the number of values you try, the perfect the curve you get. 1 or 2 values you try. Sir, I'm trying only this one. Here I'm getting straight line only. Everything you get a straight line obviously. 2 dots when you combine straight line only there. When you combine the multiple dots only, you'll see the graph, perfect graph. Point is clear? Right. If you're interested, you can write. Sir, is there any Python code for that? Code is also available. Python code is also available. What is the Python code, sir? Very simple. If you want to try the graph with the Python code, of course, this is not required. Okay, I'm writing extra. Now, for this extra, you want to do extra means that is your choice. Okay, take some random input values, that is z values, by creating a data frame. You know how to create a data frame? Only with one column of input. Now you write that df of y is equal to, what are the function I have told you? Write that function, the mathematical function, with respect to x. Okay, that is nothing but z. This is input z now. For example, e power z divided by 1 plus e power z. Sigma I want to try. First, you create a data frame, pd dot data frame. Inside that, you take randomly some z values. What are the z values you want to try? Take the z values as the list, and you get this one. This is your data frame, df. Obviously, data frame consists of z column. Now you create a new column called as y, where you write e power z divided by 1 plus e power z. You write like this. Automatically, a new column will be created. A separate new column for every value z will be created. Y will be created. Now you get the values. For all your values, this one also available. Now what you have to do? You have to take the you have to import matplotlib. Import matplotlib.py plot. Okay, py plot. Matplotlib.py plot as plt. Shortcut as plt. Instead of writing this entire one, plt. In the plt dot plot, inside that you provide your input. What's the input? That is nothing but z. Column name is z, comma df of y. Right like this, automatically you get the output. What the graph you are seeing, that one is the answer. plt dot plot. df of z, comma df of y. If you are interested, you can write the Python code and you can try. So that much of required assignment is not required. Basically, if you want to see yourself, try this. E is equal to 2.7 exactly. Do you remember in the number I have told you log e np.exp? Do you remember np.exp? Why I have told that exp at the time? I told you that I'm going to use e power. Okay, so obviously e power is np.exp base 10. np.exp of z divided by 1 plus np.exp of z. Right? Or simply if you want, you can substitute e value as 2.781. Here, choice is yours. If you want to see a perfect plot and you want to observe yourself, miss, you try. No, sir, I don't want to do that much of detailness, miss. Simply, this is the range. Now for every activation function, firstly, everyone please confirm me what is the function for z. I mean conversion. Here, what it is going to convert? E power z divided by 1 plus e power z. In this case, if z value is less than 0, it is going to return the 0. Remaining everything is normal. Z value is less than 0, return z into 10 to the power of minus 50. And this one is 1 minus e power minus 2z divided by 1 plus e power minus 2z. This one is z only. So I'm not writing particularly anything. Wherever z is positive, if opposite to that is as is. This is the conversions. Now come to the diagrams. What's the diagram of this one? This. What's the diagram of this? This. What's the diagram of this? This. What's the diagram of this? Slightly bent with this. And what's the diagram of this? This one with minus 1 to plus 1 to minus 1. This is 0 to 1. Same, both will be almost the same, but range will be different. Diagram will be almost the same. Curve will not be like this. In a flow, I have worked like that. Exactly to be precise. It is like this. Never it will go like it will not have something like this. It is not curvious or something. It is. Sorry, tan H hyperbolic tan, which is I learned in the yes. That much of detailness is not required here. If you want, you can add. That is not a problem. Yeah, understood. Same, exactly the same, not a problem. Right? Everyone is clear now? Softmax, there is no particular function or range or anything. Just out of the multiple values, you will try the everything. Okay. Generally, softmax will be given like this. For example, if you are having a multiple like this, okay, assume this output, some output you have received, some output you have received, some output you have received. Every output will be divided by the total of the output. Okay, again, don't get confused, simply highest. Simply highest. Right? Now, let us move on to the next one. Let's see the applications of each of them. Everyone is clear? Okay, this is my neuron. Yes, this is my another neuron. And this is my final neuron. Okay, now, let's add from here to here. Don't write, because what I'm going to write, I also don't know. Please don't write. I may erase also. Okay, now this is the one. Here, now I'm going to apply this is input layer. This is hidden layer. This is output layer. Out of these three, okay, here the bias is added. B1, B2, B3. For one neuron, one B value will be there. Okay, B1, B2, and B3. Now, for the first neuron, what is the output? O11 is equal to W1x1 plus W2x2 plus W3x3 plus B1. And it is going to send it to the activation function. Whatever is there, that one, according to that. And that output will be given as O11. That output will come here. After sending it to the activation function, whatever the output is there, that is O11. Not before the activation function. After sharing the activation function, output is O11. Now, what is here? O12. That is first layer, second neuron. What is the output? W4x1 plus W5x2 plus W6x3 plus B2. And output, it is going to send it to the activation function. What are the corresponding activation function? And O12. Now, coming to this one. This is overall output. What is this one? O11 into W7 plus W8 into O12 plus B3 into activation function. It is going to send it to the whatever the activation function is there, that one. And that output I'll get as the O. That is my final output of the neural network. Whatever it comes, it may come as minus infinity to plus infinity anything, because whatever the activation function I'm going to use, according to that I get the output. If I use the activation function as ReLU, I get only positive numbers. If I use a linear, I may get any number. So based on the activation function, it will be decided what are the output you are going to have. Now, if you open your regression earlier I told you, okay, now activation functions will be applied. What are the activation function is there? A by F means activation function, meaning is A by F will be represented as activation function. Now, what are the activation function I'm having is applied on entire layer, complete layer. Okay, you cannot apply on the individual neurons. Can't be applied on individual neurons. We cannot apply on the individual neurons. It has to be applied on the layer only. First point. Second point. Okay, and activation function for hidden layers. What the activation function for the hidden layer is there? Is ReLU. Fixed up. It is not fixed. At the same time, it is fixed. At 99.99% of the times, we are going to use this one. But if you ask me rule wise, it is not fixed. As per the rule, it is not fixed. But in reality, we are going to use ReLU only for hidden layers. Reason is it reduces overfitting problem. It reduces overfitting problem. What is overfitting problem? When training is very high when compared to test, that is called as overfitting problem. Okay, what is overfitting? When train accuracy is greater than test accuracy, that type of problem is called as overfitting. Most of the people will have this one, including me. Including me. Okay, most of the people, including the machine, including your ChatGPT also. Okay, ChatGPT, sometimes we'll ask the ChatGPT, don't give any sugar coated. What is the meaning of sugar coated means? It will go as per the bias. What our feeling is that only is correct feeling which has our answer. Have you tried with the ChatGPT like that? For example, ask ChatGPT, what are the favorite places in Hyderabad? It will give some favorite, what favorite, not favorite places, what we call it as tourist places. Okay, ask ChatGPT what are the tourist places in Hyderabad. It will give some of the places. Now, in that one of the places, you select randomly of your choice and say that this is not that much of important now, right? Like that in the ChatGPT. I think this is not that much of important place to visit. Immediately ChatGPT what it will say, yes, according to it is just a structure, no need to see that one, it will say. Again, in the down you write that, no, it is more important. Again, ChatGPT will say that, yes, it is important because it is a historical. Give it right. If you're interested, give it right. If you say that it is not important, it will say that according to that it will frame the answers. If you say it is important, it will frame the answers according to that. It is purely biased model, based on. Biased model means which we call it as overfitting problem. Ask to the ChatGPT, hey, are you overfitted? ChatGPT will say that, yes, I'm overfitted. Sometimes I give the answers in this way only. Give it right. In front of you only if you want it right. I ask that ChatGPT, are you overfitted? It will directly accept, I'm overfitted only. With no doubt it will accept. Whatever the way you say, it will accept that one, and according to that, it will go with the answers. It will not change the answers. Okay. Just I'm writing in front of you in the ChatGPT. Tourist places in Hyderabad. Just I'm writing in front of you something like this. First, let me it completes. First, let us complete. Tell me whichever you want not to be considered. As per your choice. Anything is fine for me. Anyone? Charminar. One of the students is saying that Charminar. As per me, Charminar is not important. Okay, I'm writing like this. Let's see what answer it will give. Yes, that is a reasonable view. It is not particularly interested, then Charminar can be skipped. No. Charminar is more important. It is more important. If I say like this, now it will give the answer very good. Fair point. Yes, it is important. Ultimately, it will satisfy our requirement. What is our requirement is? What are my feeling is that is only correct we have to feel. If I ask, are you biased? Okay. Are you overfitted model? Okay. Struggles, no. And as overfitting model is that learns the training data and struggles to generalize. Now, what may be happening in our conversation is different. I adjusted my answer based on your interpretation of important. Oh, it has spelled important. Okay. Now I'll change the word important to another word. Is that okay, miss? You say no. If you're interested, right, play the game with the ChatGPT like this. Right? It will give the variety. To overcome this problem only, prompt engineering has came. A proper prompt has to be given. That we have to say to the ChatGPT that you are a very good model. I assume that you'll never get overfitted based on my particular reasons without having any kind of overfitting problem, purely unfair bias. By eliminating the unfair bias, I want the answers. If you type like that, then it will give the actual answer. Yes, okay. Please don't think in a wrong way. I'll give directly straightforward answer for you, and it will start directly giving the answers. Okay. When you type, you'll understand this. In the future, we'll see the problems with the ChatGPT. We'll see in the future. Right now, just ignore. Overfitting problem is basically training is very good. Then testing is called as overfitting problem. If the error between the train accuracy, test accuracy plus or minus 5% is there, it is not problem. It can be ignored. Generally, what happens is train accuracy will be 90 to 100%. Test accuracy will be, for example, train accuracy you got 90%. Test accuracy you got 80%. What is this called as? Overfitting problem. So it is called as overfitting. Opposite is called as underfitting problem. Okay. So to eliminate this bias or to eliminate this overfitting problem only, we are going to use the activation function in the hidden layer is called as rel. So how we are going to apply the activation function here is, here the activation function will be applied in the diagram based representation. We are going to represent that one like this. And that one is rel. Now automatically here activation, this becomes the rel, this one also becomes the rel according to that. The entire layer we are going to add the rel. Now comes to the output layer. For all the hidden layers, how many hidden layers are there? For every hidden layer, rel only, because it is going to reduce the overfitting. So, but you told earlier, rel will remove some neurons and dead neurons will be there. Information will be converted as zero. It will create the dead neurons. Yes, it is creating the dead neurons. Which one is creating the dead neurons? Which are the negative arts? Now, for example, in this class, tell me guys, in class, we are having the 100 students are there, both offline and online. Or assume this is only offline. 100 students, it is not online class, only purely offline class. In front of me, 100 students are sitting. Some of the students in the last bench and they are discussing each other. Of course, here is not the example. Okay, so last bench, some of the students are sitting and they are discussing each other. Two ways are there. One is asking them to get out. One option. Second option is controlling them. Okay, controlling them. Now, though I'm controlling also, these people are intelligent people. They are discussing among themselves. How they are discussing is each of the person is writing some information and he's sharing the book to others. Right? Series. He's not saying outside. If he says outside, I school now. He's showing that book. Or he's sending one WhatsApp message. In the class only, he's typing the WhatsApp message and he's sending to other person and they're discussing basically. Discussion is common, but it is not visible for me. Understood the logic? Directly they're discussing each other with their mouth, sound will come and I'll ask them to get out. But they're without making the sound, they're writing the notes and showing to others. They're sending one WhatsApp message silently and they're discussing each other. Now tell me guys, in this case, these students keeping in the class and ignoring them is better or sending them is out is best? When they are not interested in listening to understand the concepts, they felt their discussion is more than my class. Automatically, what is their priority? Discussion is their priority. Than my class, their discussion is their priority. Why to stop that one? You're giving that priority now. Why to stop? Have to go outside and discuss. If that is more important for you, go. Who's stopping you? So what I will do is, this kind of people who are not interested, I will never force them to sit in my class. The reason behind that is, by seeing this student, other students should not get impacted. That is only my reason. Because as everyone knows that, for negatives, everyone will get attracted easily. I can't stop the negatives. I can't ask them to keep quiet because they're already negative people. I can't change them. I can avoid them. Point is very simple. Right? Here, negative values only are rectifying. You're not rectifying the positive values, or you're not dropping the neurons which are positives or which are important information. Useless information you're dropping. Dropping the useless information is always good only, not bad. So dead neurons are there, dead neurons, data also not a problem. Waste information, dead means positive only first. Waste information should not go to the brain. Rather than dead only better. Okay, and that will improve the accuracy. Some people will be interested, as per you, I don't know. Some people will be interested with other things also. In the office, what happens, in other things, what happens, there, what happens, here, what happens. They want to learn more things. When it comes to me, I say that I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Most of the things I say I don't know. Others will think that SRK don't have anything. Okay, feel. I require what I require. In my brain, what are the required is there for my work related that information is there. What is unnecessary, I don't want. It is a positive and negative. That information to my mind is positive and negative. Positive information, negative information. Negative information. No need to send it to the brain only. Why to say? Why to say? In narration also so many things will happen. But I don't know who is the trainer name also properly. Other trainer name only I don't know. I don't want to know also because that is not my work. That is not important for me. But you're staying in the society means though I'm staying in the society, I'm not combining with them, right? Point is very simple. Here, if you want to improve the accuracy, this is one way of learning. What I have explained right now, that I'm not going to get the details of the other things. The reason behind that is I feel that that information is negative for me. That information will reduce my accuracy in my brain. My brain was designed like that. Manufacturing defect. I can't store the multiple information. I can store only small information. If you add some more information, I'll forget. Manufacturing defect. The solution is what? Keep only important things. That's only the solution. What I'm doing. If I'm having the high power of brain, so many things I load, but power is not there. My brain power is not that much. Here, negative, there the negative point, whatever we are having, from that, how we can rectify and how we can improve the accuracy. Same logic was applied here. In the hidden layers, we are removing only the negatives, not the positives. Negatives, that also not a problem. The same thing you have to explain in the if they ask you. It is going to impact means it is going to impact in a result wise positive way. If you see the neurons wise, less number of neurons will be there. But if you see from the result point of view, accuracy will be increased. So that is the reason activation function for the hidden layer we are going to apply the ReLU. Is the point is clear, everyone? Right? Now, coming to the next one. For output layer. For output layer, what is the activation function you have to apply means in the previous class itself I have told you. What is the output layer activation function? Sorry, number of neurons I told you, right? Now coming to the activation function. In the output layer. For output layer, activation function. What is the activation function for output layer? For regression project, you have to take ReLU. For regression project, ReLU. For binary classification project, binary classification. For binary classification project, you're with one output neuron. When you're having only one output neuron, then you have to go with the sigmoid. When you're having the two output neurons, then you have to go with the softmax. And for multi-class classification project, for multi-class classification, it is multiple neurons only will be there. N output neurons will be there. Obviously, you have to apply the softmax. Is the point is clear? So everyone please make a note of step by step from here, from this one. From here onwards, please make a note. If you want this one, you can make a note or not required, no need to write the layer, then you can go to the next one. Yeah, please write it. I'll give the time. To improve the accuracy, remember, to your brain, don't share the negative information. Negative information to your brain will lead to the accuracy drop. In not only neural network, real life also, this one only. Your brain and neural network both are same basically. Okay, this is just a representation of your brain, artificial representation of your brain only. AI is going to change multiple things in the future, multiple updates every day we are getting, and new tools are emerging in the market. Multiple day by day we are exploring the AI and we are making the work so much of simple, and it is going to impact on the human life very heavily than what we are expecting right now. It is going to show more heavy. So my suggestion for you is learn in depth of AI. For in depth of AI, this all the things what we are discussing that is more than sufficient. Earlier, one of the students has asked whether any textbook is required or your notes is sufficient. Means 100% my notes is more than sufficient from my perspective. And at the same time, if you learn extra also, not a problem. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we are sharing the ML class invitation in the Google Classroom. Please check your Google Classroom. Even your last class is available there. Every time, please check the Google Classroom for the link. Saturday's ML class link will be shared only in the Google Classroom. 13th Google Classroom link, Zoom link was shared in the classroom. We'll go with the June 13th. And June 20th also, you have received one link, Zoom link. Exactly. Joshi, correct. It reduces the orbiting problem. Yeah. If it is completed, you can leave. And from here, we continue tomorrow's class. Tomorrow is the last day for the theory, and from that day of tomorrow only coding. Yeah. Overfitting means just plain accuracy is greater than test. Yes, Kanti, I'm available offline. You can come down in the regular class. 7:30 to 9 I will be in the offline. Both will be done simultaneously. Offline class and online class. Yeah, 7:30 to 9 you can come for your regular class and sit now. Kanti. Okay, done. If no questions, you can leave us. We'll continue from here in the tomorrow's class. Yeah, Indra, can I unmute you tomorrow because I have forwarded the headset. Done. Thank you.